Math at Home is an online professional development site for early childhood providers, teachers, parents, and others who support children's early math learning. The Math at Home site and the companion Math at Home courses are funded by the Early Math Education Initiative at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange Group Foundation and is supported by the College of Education at the University of Illinois at Chicago. Welcome to the introductory training course for the Math at Home training program. The Math at Home training program is a series of 8 courses focusing on early math content and application in settings that provide care and education to young children. This introductory course will provide you with the information regarding the importance of early math skills and knowledge for young children, an overview of the major content areas in early math, and an orientation to the Math at Home Professional Development Series, as well as a tour of the many resources available on the Math at Home site. This first course will be about 1 hour, and upon completion, participants will earn 1 point professional development credit from Illinois Gateway's professional development system. It is strongly recommended that participants complete this course prior to any of the other 7 courses in the Math at Home series. The purpose of this introductory course is to provide participants with an overview of why early math skills and knowledge are critical to young children's development and learning, and how and why early math is a developmentally appropriate part of an early curriculum and program. In addition, the 5 major content areas in early math will be introduced and explained. Lastly, you will have the opportunity to explore the Math at Home site, locate helpful resources for teaching math to young children, and supporting your own learning. If you are participating in this course, you most likely already have an interest in learning more about teaching math to young children. But you may be wondering how intentional teaching of early math concepts fits into a developmentally appropriate curriculum, or how math concepts contribute to the development of the whole child. Researchers and early math experts are continually learning more about how children's mathematical thinking develops during early childhood and what teachers and caregivers need to do to support children's mathematical thinking. We're also learning more about how much early math skills and knowledge matter for future learning. There are several critical reasons for why teachers of young children, even our very youngest children, should be learning about early math and including math in intentional and thoughtful ways in their programming. First, mathematics is a language, and we know that language acquisition is at its peak during the early childhood years. It makes sense to begin teaching young children the language of math as they develop language. Secondly, like literacy, mathematical knowledge begins during infancy and undergoes extensive qualitative development over the first 5 years. In the picture, what mathematical understandings might the infants have? Compare that to the kinds of mathematical knowledge a 5-year-old has. The differences are profound. Thirdly, young children are natural mathematicians. They are fascinated by what is bigger, which has more, and are very concerned with whether the distribution of those things is fair. It makes sense to build on children's natural and genuine interests in mathematical concepts. In this video, Doug Clements, early math expert and creator of Building Blocks Curriculum, provides an important historical perspective about math for young children. As you listen to the video, consider Dr. Clements' final statement that play and mathematics are not on opposite sides of the stage, but should be considered in combination. When you have finished with the video, exit the site and return to this course.
Some people would still say, though, that, okay, mathematics is good, but why do it in pre-K? Do you really need to do it that early? I mean, I didn't have mathematics in pre-K, and shouldn't a child just be left to do a child? Oh, yes, a child should be left to be children, certainly. You know what? Children like mathematics. Children see the world mathematically. Herb Ginsberg at Teachers College videotaped children when they were playing. They had no direction. Go play. Almost 50% of every minute of their play involved mathematics. It involved shapes, comparisons, enumeration, counting, comparing quantities, patterning, measurement, something in mathematics, just in their play. Kids like mathematics. They see the world through these kind of pre-mathematical lenses. They might not think of it as mathematics. They might not have the mathematical knowledge to pull it out. But we as adults can look at it and say, they're just poised to do interesting mathematics. So when we do a puzzle, when we count things, when we see who's got more or who's taller, when we see how many of those did you do, how many blocks did you put on top of each other, when you made this building, why did you make this side of the building look just like that side of the building? In other words, a symmetric building that kids might make. We're bringing the mathematics out of kids' everyday activities. Kids like mathematics. Now you still might say, yeah, but historically, kindergarten and pre-K, it was just play and socialization. No, you'd be wrong again. Let's look at the person who invented kindergarten. His name was Frederick Froebel. And more than 100 years ago, he created kindergarten. It was his invention. Everything those kids did was geometric. Those teachers who have ever taken a course in early childhood may have heard of Froebel and may have heard of his gifts and occupations. Well, his gifts were tiles, they were shape sets, they were building blocks, they were parquetry blocks, they were grids on tables, they were three-dimensional solids, and his occupations were build up these kind of three-dimensional solids to make certain kind of buildings, make a symmetric design, copy this design, extend that design, create a pattern. These were the kind of gifts and occupations that formed the original kindergarten. Froebel was a crystallographer, and he believed that God was in the details of geometric objects. And he used that as a foundation for his kindergarten. Ever since then, the building blocks that we now see ubiquitous across kindergartens and first grades and preschools and the like, those were designed as teachers. All you have to do is think about it to know they've got a unit block and a double that and a double that and a half this and two triangles that make this block and everything else. They were designed to provide interesting experiences for children. Unfortunately, with some history going, as the years went by, the math kind of got downplayed. And we still think kids should play with blocks, but we've forgotten a lot of why the blocks were designed that way. Good curricula should help teachers get back to the roots that play and mathematics are not on opposite sides of the stage. They can be combined to the benefit of children everywhere.
Many adults, when asked to think about what early math is, will often think of counting, writing numerals, and perhaps simple addition and subtraction problems. Yet early math is so much more, and the foundations for mathematical thinking begin long before children are counting and writing numerals. Think about how infants react differently to the familiar face versus the unfamiliar face. This is early sorting and classifying. Or how the toddler's first word is more, representing early understandings of quantity. Early math is about noticing the relationships among things. For example, which one is bigger? 2. Making comparisons among things. For example, which group has more? 3. Knowing when a set of objects changes in quantity. 4. Seeing patterns in daily routines. For example, when spoon feeding children, the spoon is going in and out. And 5. Learning number words in simple songs and finger plays, such as 1, 2, buckle my shoe, or my favorite, Ella Jenkins' 1 potato, 2 potato. The key point is that through warm and safe interactions with very young children, teachers, caregivers, and parents are supporting children's early development of mathematical concepts. Through stimulating environments and the quality and quantity of our math talk, with babies and young children, we support the foundation and framework for the development of mathematical concepts. Take a look at this video of children playing and cleaning up. Think back to Dr. Clement's statement about how early math concepts and play go together. Where do you see children engaging in early math activities using early math concepts? Notice where children are comparing, matching, and ordering items. Are they considering the size and shape of objects? Do you think they might recognize patterns as they clean up?
Nice, you're making what? Sunset. You have given a bangers, it seems. Tea, clever. See, can you balance like that, the tea? Can you balance? Mendra, come and sit on the mat. Ninukar, come back to the mat, please. Come and sit on the mat. Others who are not doing anything, sit on the mat. Sit on the mat. Well, sit down, please. Well, sit down. Actually, you also going to sit on the mat. On the mat. Yeah. Come. Come on.
Early math concepts can be organized into major content areas. The National Council of Teachers of Mathematics identifies these content areas and provides guidance on what each content area looks like for young children. The Math at Home courses are designed around the following content areas: number and operations, patterns, functions, and algebra, geometry in spatial sense, measurement, and data analysis and probability. The first content area is numbers and operations. For young children, this content area focuses on number sense. That is, concepts related to counting and quantity. Course number 2 of the Math at Home series is all about number sense. The second content area is patterns, functions, and algebra. The early math component of this content area is patterns. The primary objective with respect to patterns is for young children to be able to identify and analyze simple patterns, extend them, and make predictions about them. Course number 3 of the Math at Home series focuses on patterns. The third content area is geometry and spatial sense. Geometry involves shape, size, position, direction, and movement. It is how we describe our physical world. Children's spatial sense is their awareness of themselves in relation to the people and objects around them. Both of these concepts are critical components of early math. Course number 4 of the Math at Home series is all about geometry and spatial sense. Measurement is the fourth content area. For young children, measurement involves recognizing that objects have measurable properties. That is, they ask questions about how big, how much, how heavy, etc. It also includes making comparisons such as shorter and longer, and eventually understanding units and processes for measurement. Course number 5 of the Math at Home series focuses on these foundational concepts of measurement. The last content area is data analysis and probability. The early math focus in this area is on helping children collect, organize, and display data such as number of siblings at home or types of shoes they're wearing. Creating charts and graphs is a common way teachers can support young children's data analysis skills. Course number 6 of the Math at Home series focuses on data collection and analysis. Courses number 7 and number 8 of the Math at Home series focus on math processes and creating math-rich environments. For math processes, we turn again to the framework created by the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics and consider how the framework applies to young children. These processes are problem solving, which for young children is often defined as approaches to learning. That is, children's persistence, perseverance, and attitude towards challenges. Anyone who spends time with very young children quickly realizes that reasoning in the adult sense is not something young children do. They have not yet developed the ability to think logically about, reflect upon, or explain and justify their thinking. But that doesn't mean teachers and caregivers should not reason with young children. Reasoning skills can and should be modeled by the adults by providing rationales and using words such as because in phrases such as if, then, in authentic situations. Next, we think about communication. Teachers and caregivers can foster children's mathematical communications the same way they support any communication with children by asking open-ended questions, describing what they see a child doing, and listening carefully to what children are saying. Next, helping children make connections between informal, intuitive math skills, such as she has more, to more formal school math, let's count and see how many of you have, is one way children can learn to see the connections between math and other subjects and math in their everyday world. Lastly, representation is a key math process. It helps to make mathematical relationships more obvious. Consider how tallies represent different quantities and how the picture of tallies helps us see more easily which quantity is more or less. When working with young children, we often refer to the environment as another teacher. We say this because we know children learn much from exploring and interacting with physical space and the materials in it. How you organize the space in your classroom or home matters when it comes to children's mathematical thinking. Also, critically important are the materials available to the children for play and exploration. These materials don't need to be expensive, but they should be interesting, open-ended, and plentiful. Lastly, how the daily routine, such as diapering and snack, are set up and carried out are also important components of the math environment we need to create for young children. The final course, course number 8 of the Math at Home series, will focus on creating math environments for infants and young children. Here is your second check for understanding. As you can see, the 5 math concept areas are listed, and all you need to do is match the activity correctly to each of the content areas. Excellent! You have correctly matched all of the items. Hopefully by now you have some understanding of why early math is important, what early math is, and what the Math at Home courses are all about. Now we'd like you to visit the Math at Home site and learn about all the resources available to you. The Increase Your Knowledge section of the site has 7 short videos. The first 5 videos correspond to the major math content areas: number sense, patterns, geometry, measurement, and data analysis. There are 2 additional videos, one focusing on math processes and one on math vocabulary. Set Up Your Environment has 4 short videos related to creating math-rich environments. 2 videos provide an overview of setting up math-rich environments for preschool-age children and for infants and toddlers. 2 additional videos focus on materials and daily routines. All of the videos in both Increase Your Knowledge and Set Up Your Environments are part of the related Math at Home courses, but take a look now at one that interests you. One of the main features of the Math at Home site are the Math at Home lessons. There are many lessons in each of the math content areas to choose from. The lessons are organized and searchable according to age, infants, toddlers, and preschools, topics, and materials. Click on the icon to search math lessons and search for lessons related to patterns. How many lessons related to the topic of patterns can you find? Here is page 1 of a sample lesson plan. Hover over each numbered marker for an overview of that section of the lesson. This section consists of the title of the lesson and a brief description of the activity. This section identifies the content areas and the standards set by the National Council for Teachers of Mathematics that the lesson aligns with. These standards specify target learning outcomes for children. The Obtain the Materials section lists what you need to complete the lesson. For example, for this lesson, you would need pipe cleaners, loop cereal, such as Cheerios or Fruit Loops, and an egg carton or muffin tin. The Introduce the Activity section frames the activity and invites the children to participate. Here is page 2 of a sample lesson plan. Hover over each numbered marker for an overview of that section of the lesson. The Engage the Children section is the heart of the lesson. Specific math vocabulary displays in bold to highlight concepts and skills that the lesson emphasizes. The Encourage Vocabulary section highlights the math language that the lesson emphasizes. The Make Adaptation section is designed to help you meet the specific needs of your children based on their ages or developmental levels. Here is page 3 of a sample lesson. Hover over each numbered marker for an overview of that section of the lesson. The Make Adaptation section is designed to help you meet the specific needs of your children based on their ages or developmental levels. These sections, books, music and movement, outdoor connections, and web resources, present additional resources that pertain to the lesson. Each lesson also has additional key features. Hover over each numbered marker for an overview. The Increase Your Knowledge button takes you to math videos that you can use to increase your knowledge about math concepts and your understanding of how the activities in math lessons relate to these concepts. The Print button opens a print-optimized PDF version of the lesson. The Share with Parents button opens a Word document that you can customize to inform parents about what their children are learning. The Comment button takes you to a section of the lesson where you can provide feedback to the math team about the lesson. The Math blog focuses on creating a network of teachers, caregivers, and parents interested in supporting young children's development of math knowledge and skills. The blog entries provide teaching tips and ideas, recommended links to articles and math-related activities, suggestions for materials, and wonderful explanations of early math concepts and content areas. It is easily searchable based on your topic of interest and provides an opportunity for you to engage in a conversation with others. Scroll through the blog posts and choose one that speaks to you. Read through the conversation and add a question or a response. You can subscribe to the Math blog at the bottom of the page. Once you have finished, exit out of the website and return to this course. The Math at Home resource page provides links to useful math-related resources organized by age and topic. These resource links include information for teachers and providers, as well as math computer games and apps for children. The Math resource page also links to math learning standards for young children. This is a critical feature of the Math at Home site. Thinking about our teaching in terms of the standards for children's learning is key to improving child outcomes. The National Council of Teachers of Mathematics and Illinois Early Learning and Development Standards provide a roadmap of common expectations for children's learning across different areas. Aligning your lessons and activities to learning standards for young children provides additional guidance for ensuring developmentally appropriate practice and ensures that teachers address all early math content areas. The picture on the slide is a screenshot for the standards page of the Math at Home site. It shows how each lesson, listed along the left-hand side, is aligned to a content area and standard developed by the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics. Notice that serial sorting lesson, featured earlier, is aligned with the content areas of number and operations in algebra, specifically Numbers and Operations Standard 1, to understand numbers, ways of representing numbers, relationships among numbers in number systems, and Algebra Standard 1, to understand patterns and relations. Do you see the connection between the activities children may do during the lesson and the standards? We think this chart that organizes the lessons by standards will be very helpful to you in your planning and when sharing with parents how the activities you do meet national standards for math learning. Math at Home invites you to participate in a research project that examines early care providers' perceptions of math, as well as perceptions about the use of these professional development courses. If you are willing to participate in our research project, please click on the link to take you to a consent form. There, you will receive information about the project, confidentiality, research results, and will be asked to complete one questionnaire at the end of this course. You will also be asked to complete a final questionnaire at the end of the professional development series after course number 8. We thank you for assisting us with this research.